Welcome back to my YouTube channel. What if I told you that a simple $50 sitting unnoticed in a drawer, a coin most people ignore without a second glance, could quietly be worth over $654,000? Not a rare gold coin, not a centuries-old treasure, just a 1974 $50 with no mint mark. Now here's the unsettling part: millions of Americans have handled this coin at some point in their lives, passed through pockets, cash registers, tip jars, and then disappeared into collections or junk drawers. Most people never looked twice, but a few did. And those few, they discovered something that turned ordinary metal into a life-changing asset. So let me ask you something. When was the last time you actually checked your coins carefully? Not just glanced at them, but really looked. Because by the end of this video, you might realize that ignoring that habit could cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars. And no, that's not an exaggeration. The 1974 $50, officially known as the Kennedy $50, was minted in massive numbers. On the surface, it seems common, almost boring. But here's where things take a sharp turn. Some of these coins were struck with rare minting errors, subtle imperfections that only trained eyes or lucky collectors catch. And these errors, they're not flaws. They're opportunities. We're talking about dramatic doubling in the lettering, off-center strikes that shift the entire design. And in rare cases, composition anomalies that completely change the coin's structure. Now pause for a second. Imagine holding a coin that looks slightly off. Maybe the letters aren't perfectly aligned. Maybe the image feels shifted, and instead of dismissing it, you recognize it for what it truly is, a mistake that the mint never intended. But collectors are willing to pay a fortune for. That's exactly what separates the average person from the smart collector. And here's the exciting part. These error coins weren't supposed to leave the mint. Yet somehow they slipped through quality control and entered circulation. Think about that. A multi-billion-dollar minting operation, and a tiny imperfection slips through, only to become worth more than most people's annual salary. That's not just rare. That's powerful. Now you might be thinking, okay, but how rare can this really be? Let's put it this way. For every thousands of normal 1974 $50, only a handful carry these high-value errors. And among those, only a few remain in excellent condition. That's where the real money is. Because condition isn't just important. It's everything. A sharply preserved coin with a visible error can skyrocket in value, while a worn-down version might barely attract attention. And this is where urgency comes in. Because every year more of these coins are either lost, damaged, or overlooked. The supply shrinks, the demand rises, and the people who already understand this, they're quietly collecting, quietly profiting, while everyone else stays unaware. Let me break the tension for a second. Imagine explaining to a friend that you found a coin worth over $500,000, and they respond with, "Wait, I had one of those. I think I used it for laundry." Painful, right? But it happens more often than you think. Here's the truth most people don't want to hear. Opportunities like this don't announce themselves loudly. They hide in plain sight. They look ordinary. They feel insignificant, until someone with the right knowledge sees them differently. The 1974 no mint mark $50 is more than just a coin. It's a reminder that value is often invisible to the untrained eye. And right now, somewhere in America, someone is unknowingly holding one of these coins. Maybe it's in a jar. Maybe it's in an old collection. Maybe it's already in your possession. So the question is not if these coins exist. The question is, will you recognize one before it's too late? Because once these coins are discovered and locked into private collections, they rarely come back into the market. And when they do, the price doesn't go down. It climbs higher, faster, relentlessly. So here's what you need to do. Start checking your coins. Not casually, not carelessly, but with intention. Look for anomalies. Look for differences. Look for anything that feels even slightly unusual. Because in the world of rare coins, slightly unusual can mean life-changing money. And remember, the difference between someone who misses this opportunity and someone who transforms their financial future isn't luck. It's awareness. Now ask yourself one final question. What if the next coin you check isn't just a coin? What if it's your breakthrough? And if that possibility even slightly excites you, then you already know what to do next. We're diving deep into the story of the 1990 mint mark $50 coin. a rare error that collectors and investors are scrambling to get their hands on. Current market value? A staggering $754,000. Yes, you heard that right. Almost $750,000 for a coin that could be sitting in your pocket right now. But the question is, do you even know if you own one? Let's step back and understand why this coin is so special. Most people see a 1990 half dollar and assume it's just another Kennedy design, minted quietly and tucked away in circulation. But this coin tells a different story. Due to a rare minting error at the Philadelphia Mint, a tiny but critical mistake occurred in its production, making it one of the most sought-after coins in the modern era. Imagine for a moment. A coin that was once ordinary suddenly transforms into a priceless artifact overnight. This isn't just luck. It's history, and history always holds value. Now, I know what you might be thinking. A minting error? Isn't that just a minor flaw? Well, yes and no. To the untrained eye, it's easy to dismiss. But collectors, investors, and high-end coin dealers see something else entirely. A doorway to wealth. Think of it this way. It's like discovering a first-edition book in a thrift store, unmarked and pristine, only to learn it's worth six figures. That thrill, that fear of missing out, is exactly why the 1990p mint mark half-dollar error is in such high demand today. And speaking of high demand, have you ever noticed how some things are suddenly everywhere and then gone in a heartbeat? That's the coin market, my friend. Blink, and you might miss it. Here's the part most people overlook. Timing is everything. Coins like this don't stay undervalued for long. Once word gets out, and believe me, it already has, the market reacts fast. Dealers are hunting, collectors are bidding, and the window of opportunity narrows by the day. Now, imagine discovering this coin tucked away in a jar of loose change, realizing that it could sell for over $754,000, and knowing there are buyers ready and willing to pay a premium immediately. The excitement, the rush, it's unmatched. And let's be honest, there's also a little fear. Fear of missing out, fear of letting history and wealth slip right through your fingers. But it doesn't have to be that way. Awareness is power, and in this case, it's potentially life-changing wealth. And just to reset your mind for a second, here's a fun thought. What if your grandkids are the ones who find it and you don't even know it's in the family collection? Funny, right? But that's reality. Rare coins have a way of hiding in plain sight, waiting for the right eyes to recognize their true value. Why now? You might be asking, how do I know if I have one? First, check the mint mark carefully. The Philadelphia Mint mark is subtle but distinct. Then, examine the coin for the unique error characteristics, small variations in striking that set this coin apart from ordinary circulation half dollars. Every detail matters because collectors and investors pay top dollar for authenticity and rarity. Here's the final piece. This coin isn't just about money. It's about legacy, smart investing, and recognizing value where others see none. It's about the thrill of discovery and the empowerment that comes with making informed decisions. For those who act, the rewards can be immense. The 1990p mint mark half-dollar error is highly sought after, in demand, and poised to continue rising in value. The choice is yours. Will you be the one to uncover this hidden treasure and claim your place among those who saw opportunity when others only saw ordinary coins? So, take a moment, look through your collection, and ask yourself, could one of these coins be sitting quietly at home, ready to turn into a life-changing fortune? Don't wait. Opportunity like this coin waits for no one. And remember, the next collector who spots it won't hesitate.